I absolutely love the mindset that this team has had, and now you're leading this thing into a game 6. I do believe getting it this far helps a little bit as it relates to wherever this season ends for the Detroit Pistons. But because their mindset has been that there's still more for them to eat, all season they have refused to accept anyone's expectation, and I believe that's why they're in this position right now, and they were able to punch up down 3-1 with a great chance to tie this series and bring it back to New York.
Yeah, all the teams in the league that have lost their series already have big questions about what they're doing. The Heat, what's their next step? What are they doing? Milwaukee, absolutely. Which direction are you going? In the Pistons case, even if they lose this series, it's more of, okay, now how do we improve and get better to make the next step in next season? It's optimism. For next year, for most of the other teams, it is just like, okay, how do we fix this thing? It's broken if they've lost in the first round of playoffs. But again, that's where the Pistons are trending.
And what do you think is a big key to winning at home? Because they have struggled at home in this playoff series so far. They seem to play better at MSG, which is a little crazy, but they know how to handle that pressure on the road. But how can they go into LCA in Game 6 and come out with a dub?
Cut the mistakes, cut the turnovers, and then just play solid all the way through. If I'm not mistaken, they have led in every game by 6 or 8.
Yeah.
And maybe even double digit. Get that lead, build on that lead, don't have turnovers and things that just let the Knicks get back into it. I think defensively they figured a lot of stuff out where we haven't seen a 40-point game from Jalen Brunson or anything like that from Towns. It's really just, can you maintain that throughout the course? And the foul trouble on Duran, the foul trouble in keeping Asar on the court for those things for an extended period. The more that Brunson sees Asar, I think the less effective he can be. You've got to actually have him Asar on the court for most of the game. I think he's the best defender you've got there.
And you know what? Because I went back and forth between, if he can't stay out of foul trouble, do you just save him to be that blanket in the fourth quarter, since they have been able to run some different looks at Jalen Brunson. But in this game, it seemed like JB Bickerstaff and Asar Thompson, they found out some wrinkle that allowed Asar Thompson to stay out of foul trouble and to be more effective. Because we know the stats all say when he's been on the court defensively, he's been very, very effective. But he's also gotten those fouls that's taken him away from the game as it relates to when we need him most, especially on offense. We see, as much as we talk about his defense, just how effective he can be on offense, and you don't even have to scheme up plays. You're putting him in motion. They're having him cut back door. They're having him fill the empty space. A lot of things we talked about we would like to see. Remember, we were talking about these types of motions, hoping to see this when they drafted Ivy. And we knew, Ivy can catch a lob. Ivy has some athleticism. Ivy has speed, and he likes to cut. And then when we got Asar, we're like, we finally have some athletic guys that can get out and do this, both in transition and in the half court. I believe with some of the struggles they've had in the half court offense, seeing Asar Thompson out of foul trouble, being able to blanket on defense on one side and then be on offense on the other side, it's just this is what's boded so well for them. And I believe what has to be a catalyst for this team moving forward, it's continue that recipe. Whatever they figured out to keep them out of foul trouble and in the game, they're going to have to. And I noticed some of those kind of ticky-tack fouls, that 1 or 2 a game that Asar would get against the Knicks, I've noticed that those calls, those fouls, they weren't existent in this last game.
Right, and the Knicks have tried to do some things to make it more difficult, making him run through screens.
Yeah.
And it's really just that little crevice right between the screener. If he can squeeze through there, and there was one, I think that was his second or third foul last night. The screen is there. He can run through that if he beats Brunson to that spot. He was just a little bit late trying to get there. So between him and Schroeder, I think they can do some things and holding Brunson down. Brunson's a really good player. Let's not get that twisted either.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarters, he just can't go off down the stretch. They've got to have Thompson fresh for those situations.
You know what, JB? I think it's time for a little bit of a swish or brick.
I think it is too.
Right. Hey, you got a little time? We got a few questions.
A lot of swisher breaks in Atlanta, man. That's all I'm saying.
And while we're getting the graphic up, you know what people call him, Rod, in the chat?
What?
Rod. They calling him lemon pepper Rod.
Hey, we know you done been to Magic. You ain't got to tell us, but we know you done been to Magic City and got some of the wings, man. Only 4 to win.
Hey, whoever put that in there first, please put that back so I can give you your credit. But yeah, I saw that. And I was cracking up. But you know what? Just real quick, as people was like, "Hey, mention Tobias, mention Schroeder." Trust me, we got a whole segment after where we're gonna talk. Cade,
we got
we're gonna talk Toby and the vets, and that does include one Dennis Schroeder, because wow, the pickup Schroeder was at the trade deadline. They absolutely needed him here.
Arguably the most underrated signing in just Pistons recent history. Like, absolutely.
But it seems like every one of their special teams, they get those types of deals. Something like that happens. So, obviously, for this year, the expectation wasn't necessarily a championship, but for what Dennis Schroeder means for this first round series.
He's been everything. He's like water to somebody in the desert, bro. Like, for real. Whenever it started to maybe go off the rails, he stabilized things. So that's all you can really ask for.
Good point. Hey, throw that graphic up there again, man. Let's rock. Swisher break. Hey, Willie B. It's time for it, man. Let's get that DJ Chop Cheese.
Yeah, right. He got us going, man. We finna roll up, man. We finna roll up and enjoy this. We'll get through as many of these as we possibly can. Number 1, JB Bickerstaff has been the best coach in this series versus the Knicks. Swish or brick?
JB Bickerstaff has continued to make different wrinkles. The Pistons are down in this series against a more talented New York Knicks team. Bless you, Willie. But JB Bickerstaff has coached this team to a point where they have a good shot in Game 6 to tie it up without Isaiah Stewart, which a lot of people believe was one of those pieces in the series to put the Detroit Pistons over the top. He has solved some of the foul troubles that we've seen his players get into, and he's putting young players in position to lead this charge. We know what we think about Cade Cunningham, but when you look at how they have helped Asar Thompson just in this series alone, Jalen Duren in this series alone, and you see the defense and the offense, it's working. The 2 games that they did win, they made the necessary adjustments down the stretch. But we're gonna go around the cast and the crew real quick and see what everybody else thinks. You know what? I'm gonna start with JB. And we'll go around KG, and then we'll get Rod last. Hey, what up though, man? JB Bickersmooth has been the best coach in this series. What say ye, JB Smooth?
I gotta go with Swish on this one. As you said, Kool-Aid, he's starting to see and realize that he's making those adjustments down the stretch as well. Those first couple games are a little questionable, but still, I got faith in him. He was obviously my pick when this Pistons season started as well. So this is an absolute Swish for me. No complaints for me.
Hey, what up, though, Willie B and Kavasi? Let me know if you win.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go Willie B and then Kavasi next.
Yeah, I call it a switch because JB always make adjustments every time. Every time they back down in the series, they always find a way to find a win. So JB is good at adjusting the defense and the offense to figure out which one of how to shut down those star players like Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. So yes, it's a switch for me because JB been there with Cleveland. Now he do that with Detroit, so he know what he doing in his craft of coaching. So most definitely.
Hey, what up, though, Kavasi?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's a switch as well. We talked about it earlier. We've been in positions in nearly every game to win, and I feel like it's more or less been on the players kind of making little mistakes, whether it be like, errors in the game or like mental mistakes. And, like JB can only do so much as the coach. It's the guys on the court who are going to go out and like either make the plays or not make the plays. And I think he's put them in a good position. He's made the adjustments throughout the series to show like he's, this team, whether they win or lose, it's not a fault of the coaching. It's going to be a result of like what the execution of the play is on the court.
Yep. I like that. KG, before I hit the chat for just a few, and then we'll get the legend.
Yeah, absolutely a swish. JB, especially defensively, he's been lights out. Like, they have not looked overmatched at really any point of this series besides, I guess you can say, game 1 when they let that 21-0 run kind of go. But I chop that more up to just rookie mistakes, being in the playoffs for the first time. It's a maturation process. But offensively, and we talked about it yesterday, I had concerns about, them in the half court, especially when they can't get the ball moving, and especially when Cade's not on the floor. They did a lot last night to kind of ease my worries. Yeah, and once you, like you said yesterday, it was the sense of urgency that they needed to have just in running some of their sets that can make all of the difference. He made that adjustment. They looked a lot better last night.
It didn't look like they were dragging into the plays. It looked like they just got into the sets, got up the court, passed the ball up the court. I like that. And they just got right into the plays quickly. And Duren it was almost as if they knew, because as soon as the ball went into Durant in the middle, that boy turned right around. It was
Yes, sir.
dropping it down.
Yes, sir.
And some of their turnovers came from trying to make that play, almost as if JB Bickerstaff was like, oversell this.
Right.
So-
But I can live with those kind of turnovers, though. I can live with that.
And look, in the chat real quick, it's a mix. It is a mix. Organic Lindo. He's talking about Swisher break. Ziggs or Zag break. Him for me.
Yeah. Bro, Tim's couldn't even get his players in the game. 2 minutes left. Why would you call a timeout?
Listen, Grumman says coaching matters. The real K77, he says swish like an MFer. ACG brick, but he's definitely growing though. The Shaquille Oatmeal. I love JB, but it is a brick. They're down in the series, but Kool-Aid does have a point. Mitten made swish. And AG's burner, and I hope this goes for Rod, myself, and Brad Holmes too. JB Bickerstaff has tremendous invisible hair. But what's saying Rod here? What?
Damn.
My man's got a wig on.
What's the thing, Rod?
Bro, no, I think this is a switch, because the adjustments of saying, I don't think they started with Asar on Brunson, but seeing that the size there and the athleticism would be something that he would have trouble with, and then even Tobias on Karl Anthony Towns and freeing up Durant, and we said that was a big deal, that Durant having to go out on the perimeter would be something that the Pistons would have to watch. So I think making those sorts of adjustments throughout the series. Look, the Pistons, I don't think have been outplayed, and I don't think they've been outcoached. I think this has been more of a play here, a play there, things on the court more so than things that Bickerstaff has or hasn't done.
No, I absolutely agree with that, and we'll just go ahead and roll into our second question, or second statement, should I say. In Game 6, Cade Cunningham needs to start aggressively like Game 2 in the second half of Game 5, swish or brick.
We saw in Game 2 when this was effectively the first must-win game of the series. If you go down 0-2, it's going to be tough. And Cade Cunningham went in the first quarter and absolutely put the pressure on the New York Knicks. In this game, it seemed like the Pistons really took control when Cade Cunningham, and everybody was saying it. Our chat family was saying it. Social media was saying it. Third quarter Cade is on the way. But what are we getting out of fourth quarter Cade? And he came through in the second half. That level of aggressiveness put so much pressure on the New York Knicks, and I believe that it did open up so much more for even an Asar Thompson. But let's go around the room and we'll see what the people say. JB Smooth, what up, though?
I think it's a swish, but it's not necessarily a full swish. Like, you do need to come out aggressive, K, in these games, but still at the same time, let your team help you as well too. Let your bench help you as well, which they did in this game. Shout out to Schroeder and Beasley as well, finally getting that shimmy back, I see. But yeah, just play your game. Not necessarily you need to come out here and be the all-star that I think Stick wants you to be right now on every possession of the play, but still go out there and be a facilitator when you see open shots that your teammates can knock down easily. So still a swish, but not all the way.
Cavassier, what up, though, brother?
Can I get the question one more time? I'm sorry.
Cade in Game 6, Cade needs to start aggressively like he did in Game 2 in the second half of Game 5.
I mean, I would like to see that. I'd like to see just aggressive Cade in general, but I think if he's getting the team involved, and if he's offensively not being as aggressive scoring the ball, but you're seeing Malik Beasley getting involved, you're seeing Tobias Harris get involved more, maybe he's getting Asar or Jalen Durant involved more with the pick and roll, then I'm not going to be upset with him getting the rest of the team involved, because that just means he's going to be fresher for the fourth quarter to truly take over and close the game out.
I agree with that.
Yep, and that's a bar, man. What up, though, Willie B?
I call it a bank shot switch. You know what I mean? I just look at what Cade has to do, but you can't depend on one man to win the ball game. But it need everybody involved. So the leader had his troops had to follow suit. When he's playing, the other team follow up, know they role, and find a way to win. Plain and simple.
Bars. What up, though, KG?
Not mad at that. This is a 2K bounce up in the air, and eventually it does go down, because I keep saying this, you don't want K to not be K. You have to continue to go out there, be the playmaker that we know you can be, because that is one of your greatest strengths. But I just love when K pushes the issue, because that just puts so much more pressure on the Knicks, and that opens up opportunities for everyone else to be able to cash in.
Now, started looking scared.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, man, they ain't got no answers for K K when he
boy's dripping buckets of sweat, dog.
No, for real. When K gets downhill or he gets to that spot on the elbow where he can either hit a turnaround or a pull up, you can't do nothing with him. But when the opportunities for other teammates to get involved happen, they have to cash in. And that's been the only kind of downside to, K can't, be more or needs to be more aggressive, is because when he's not aggressive, normally his teammates ain't helping him out either. So if you get better play from his teammates, I kind of agree that K can take a step back and just be the facilitator, but I will say swish for this.
And I'm saying AJ's burner says, I think K just needs a certain amount of looks a quarter and not defer as much. KLXVD9 says swish, and I'm seeing some people who they're actually kind of for seeing Cade Cunningham go out there and push the issue. ACG, just be Cade. He was flustered after that third foul last night. Just be Cade. That was one of the themes that we had on the show last night too. Even we're talking about mid-range shots versus go to the rim. Sometimes I just want Cade to be comfortable, even if that's a mid-range. And what do we see in the fourth? Something we didn't see for the whole game, really. In the fourth quarter, we saw Cade attacking the mid-range.
Yep.
His two fouls that were very pivotal, the two times he went to the trip, I think might have been back-to-back plays. One of them was attacking the mid-range, and Karl Anthony Towns fouled him. The other one was another mid-range attack. He went to the free throw line. Those were big pivotal plays, and I think that's comfortable Cade Cunningham. And they were step-in ones. It wasn't as if it was a lot of the spin action and things of that nature. It was come off the pick and roll and step into that mode. Yeah. Just like he did with the three-pointer in the fourth quarter, too. But, Rod Beard, what say ye?
No, I think I'm going to say brick on this because I think you got to get everybody involved early. We saw in game 2, that's it. The Knicks defense adjusts, and then sort of who steps up at that point. If you get Malik, if you get Tim Hardaway, if you get those guys involved early, Cade can do whatever he wants when he wants. He can start to do that in the third quarter, second quarter, fourth quarter. Doesn't matter.
You preaching.
So I think to start the game, you get everybody involved and make the Knicks start to figure out what they have to do. But Cade in the paint, they have no answer for it. There is no answer for that in this series. So you can do that whenever you want.
Yo, I like the way that Rob put that.
Yeah.
I like that answer a lot.
That's why he's the best, man. But as we go into number 3, Tobias Harris can keep up this level of play on both ends of the floor, swish or brick.
So I know who you put this one in there for.
Poor JB.
What you mean, man? What are you talking about?
Look at JB is besides himself right now. Cavassier didn't even flinch and look up at all.
All right.
But Tobias Harris, you see him making Karl Anthony Towns work on both ends of the floor, which I think is one of the most instrumental pieces of the series. Why? Because during the regular season, Isaiah Stewart would make Karl Anthony Towns work, and one of the keys to victory that we talked about for the series was that it was, hey, coming into the series, Isaiah Stewart has kept Karl Anthony Towns gassed, tired, and this overall defense that they employ against him. And those fourth quarters have looked a lot like these fourth quarters. I believe Karl Anthony Towns had one fourth quarter where he had a really good one, and the other ones he's looked tired and largely ineffective in these fourth quarters. And I believe that Tobias Harris has a lot to do with that, with the pressure he's putting on the offensive side, as well as if you look at Tobias Harris, when we talk about wearing somebody's jersey, there are plays literally when it looks like Tobias Harris is on the inside of Karl Anthony Towns' jersey, and he's just chasing him all over the court and making life difficult for him every bucket. Even if someone said, oh man, Tobias just let him score that. No, he didn't.
Right.
Cat is taller, stronger. Cat does
more
this
skilled
to people. But did you see how much he had to work? And then what did we see in the fourth quarter? When Cat tried that same stuff, there were some bad breaks. You could tell that boy's legs is gone. He was tired. No stamina. So, you know what? Let's kick this thing off, man.
Of course.
So that was
let's
hold
kick
on,
this thing off.
That was a swish for you. He can't keep up this level of play on both ends.
We already know.
Okay, all right.
We already know.
Go ahead.
Boy.
The hater in the room. Go
That's
ahead.
number 12, Toby.
Go ahead, JB.
Oh my God.
Big hater energy. Go ahead and brick, bro. We already know what you're gonna say.
I mean, it's a brick. Like, honestly, like, yes, I agree that he is making Cat work, but at the same time, Cat is still making it happen regardless. Once it gets to the fourth quarter, obviously he is tired. He is gassed out as well too. But you're not going to get that full offensive and defensive game from Tobias. It's either one or the other. Pick which one you want from either game. Do you want the rebounds or do you want the points? It's up to you. But this is a brick for me.
Tobias made himself so easy to love.
Cavassier. So JB just threw you the lob, Cavassier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna slam it home too. Every time we put expectations, and it's not just us. Like historically in the playoffs, you put expectations on Tobias Harris, he folds. Like if when you have him flying under the radar, he performs. Like last night, was anyone going in expecting him to fall out? No, because we saw what Cat did.
I was. What do you mean?
You saw how Cat dominated in Game 4.
I understand.
And we're giving him all the credit for this. But
I'm gonna let you land.
Just say you gave him all the credit for this Game 5 performance. Where was it in Game 4? At home.
Oh my God, it's one game. But go ahead. Go ahead.
One game last night could have cost us the series. Like we're on the ropes right now. You gotta take this stuff seriously. Like it's fight or flight right now.
Then where's that energy for everybody else that's been struggling? Beasley's been having a horrible series.
You're right. Beasley's also not a starter. He's a role player. Tobias, like I said, when we put the expectations on him to be this number 2, he plays more like a role player. When we have him flying under the radar, he shows out and plays across the board, like as well as he did last night in every category. Like I think it's more about getting the effort plays out of Tobias and him being that hustler, and then you see the points come later in the game for him. But I think that's what you need to see.
Cat hasn't had a good second half and fourth quarters in the series, though. That one game he did, but largely the trend has been that he's been flustered.
Yeah. I mean, if Tobias can go out there and hustle in the first half, I think maybe he can perform a little bit, score a little bit more in the second half for us, like late in the game. But I don't know. I'm
got some support, man. AC in the chat says Chase is spitting. And Hoof Artist says Perm Chase just hits different.
Right, he get that perm. Just don't know how that.
It's just how it comes
curls,
out. This is how it dries,
I feel, you know what? You guys have been consistent. And what Chase has consistently done is set the standard. And if Tobias meets it, he will come back on the show and say, he met the standard. No beef from me. I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
There's a bar. If you're above it, that's great. If you're below it, I'm going to call you out on it. Especially when you're making $26 million a year on this team.
That's fair. That's fair. Willie B, what up, though?
I'm gonna be neutral on this one because you never know what you gonna get from Tobias Harris.
Look how y'all have infested.
Right.
I can say, but,
You've corrupted Willie, man. Come on.
Speaking of his own mind and part.
I know how neutral he could be. Neutral, he could be on and you go off. If we say something positive, he'd be off the next game. And you say nothing about it, he have a good game.
So it's a mojo thing.
It's a mojo thing. I don't want to jinx it, and it feel like we jinxing it right now. I'm just saying we fake jinx it, KG. I ain't gonna hold you up. I'm gonna give a switch on it because he got it's a time and place to win, and Tobias knows if you want to go the next round.